wherein I do a lot of my counseling. Counseling is both online and offline, and I also do a lot of training. Training comes from life skills to anything to do with empowering people. This is what is me, and what brings me to addiction. This is something interesting story if I have to tell. Addiction was very easy for me to get attracted to because it has two things. One is it has a medical thing, like my pharmaco experience, which was like saying why they taste that drug. And also when I was asking anybody to open their mouth, I used to first see was like oh man, this guy smokes this. It's so easy because it's visually very present. So that was what so it was a very combined thing, like I knew the medical thing, I knew the chemical part of it, then I also learned about the emotional part of it. So then it happened that there is one of the wonderful courses which happens in NIMHANS, which happens only for doctors. They are not open for everybody. So where you learn about substance addiction. So when you learn about substance addiction, it doesn't mean that you just learn about substance addiction. They give you as a whole pack. Like, it's a complete addiction which you learn on, and thereon I hooked to this. And, I understood there is a need, and there are not many people who are trained in this area. So I just thought, like, okay, this is my forte, and I think I should work on this. And I'm being happy that I don't say like I've made many changes, but whoever I've worked with, I have made a good change, and that matters to me. Let it be even one or let it be 10. Numbers doesn't matter, but that is very. I think that makes me more empowered because there is a purpose in what I am doing, and that helps. So this is my small story, and I'm a good storyteller, is what I would say. Okay, so to start with, addiction is something which many of us know. And why is gaming addiction? When I think when Maya spoke to me about this platform where she wanted me to talk about, Sandhya, you know what? I said, what? I want somebody to talk on gaming addiction. I said, like, okay, I can talk about, because she said, you know what, my kids, like, because my kids, in the sense, the people who you guys work with, mostly college kids, they all are mostly wanting to know about it, but they have their own hesitation not to, like, open up. They don't want to talk. I said, okay, chalo, let us talk about it. Okay, so there, where is my presentation. What I'm going to do is, to the audience here, what I'm going to do is I will present myself the slide. So sometimes which I will not present, so that we can have an interaction also, because interaction takes the conversation much better, and also your doubts can be shared in a chat mode, or you can always talk. Okay, so there I go. I've learned a little bit technical thing of presentation. I'm doing it now. Okay. I'm sure you can see this. Are you guys able to see it? Okay, fine, great. So, let me. So, this is what I'm asking. Is this not being most of our life now? Like, you can say yes, you can say no, you can disagree. I'm fine with that. So this is work, this is home, this is play, and this is sleep. And I'm sure if you see in this picture's really attracted me. If you see something which is trying to his eyes, was this a possibility? Was this something we were doing earlier? Right? This was happening only when we go in flights. This was not something which we were doing, right? So this has become a mode. When this has become a mode, that means there is something not okay, right? So let us see what is not okay. So this happened. This is something which I am coming up with. This is our pandemic presentation, because 6 hours of gaming, when somebody does, like, oh my god, no, this is. And again, this was something which my son came home and told when the online class started. He just told me, Amma, how hypocrite you are. I was like, what? Did you say that? He said, yeah, ma, how hypocrite you are. I said, why? When I used to watch a game or when I used to watch a computer or laptop, what you said is, no, it's not good for your eyes, it's not good for that. But the moment they started the online class, whole tone has changed, aren't you? I know, I know. And kids are somebody who really, really observe you very well, and they know what are the questions to ask and what next. So this is when actually, see, basically they were always gamers, they were always people who were into video gaming, but the more happened when it was the pandemic, because they were bored and we were not letting kids to go anywhere except, like, sit in front of computer or do an online class or something. This became more. If you see a survey, when I was preparing for the session, what I was reading was 2 billion people are playing video game. 2 billion is not a small number at all. 2 billion happened to be a huge number, and in that, almost 9% are young adults and adolescents. See, whenever we do a statistics, what they say is anything about 2% is not okay. Here we are talking about something 9%, and you can understand how big it is. So next, coming to my next slide, this is something which I want to talk about. So what is this addiction? Like, we talk about addiction when you take alcohol, we talk about addiction when you smoke, we talk about addiction when there is a ganja used. But what is this addiction when it comes? What is addiction? So I just want to read this. Addiction is a psychological or physical inability to stop. What exactly that means is you're not able to actually take control of yourself and stop it from consuming chemical drug activity. This is something which I'm underlining here for you guys. Activity is where we talk about this. The activity here is our gaming, video, or maybe it may be. I also want to bring, when people are into gaming, there is also pornography which comes here. Okay, because that is mostly no note subject, not spoken subject still, because they think that is something not okay. But that is also something which is being included when it comes to addiction. And there is two things which you have to understand. There is compulsive seeking, irrespective of harmful consequence. What are these harmful consequences? That is something which we have to know. The harmful consequence is something like you are not bothered about your hygiene, you're not bothered about your mental health, you're not bothered about your people around you, you're not bothered about your friends, you're not bothered about anything. And even money, people are not bothered about money, social reputation, nothing is being bothered except that activity or that chemical. So this is something is called as addiction. So why I bring in addiction definition? If you go and search for addiction definition, I can tell you there are 25 addiction definition. But I confine with this because the important thing is psychological and physical harmfulness with compulsive seeking. This is what is very, very important for us to understand addiction. So now let's come to gaming. Like, what is gaming? Like, why is it addictive? Basically, the gaming is addictive because it acts just not upon you, it's act on your brain, it acts on your mind, body and soul. It take control of everything there. So do you tell, like, there no good effect of it? Of course there are many good effect of it, but anything you consume or anything you take in larger quantity is harmful. Anything, if you take mindfully and when you use it consciously, then it is helpful. This is something which has been, I think it works good for many of the things. So coming next is, okay, what are these types of games? I don't know how many of you really know how many types of game are, what is free play. When I was into browsing what is free play, I had to browse for almost 500 games which are available. So anything to do with like any game like Minecraft or anything to do with our word challenge, Scramble, all these things come under free play. And the massive multiple play is all our PUBGs. Shooting game comes under this PUBG, Call of I have written down some Free Fire, Max, Call of Duty. These are some things which comes under shooting games. These are where which is very, very dangerous, and I just want to tell you why are these games dangerous, and what is that which would make this game very aggressive. Why are these games very aggressive? This is something which we need to understand. So when I want to share a story here, this story is coming from a very rural place which I have witnessed. This is a place where in somewhere in Belgaum, where when we were traveling, it happened like there are almost 40 boys sitting all in near a tree, a big tree. The people they are sitting are like they're sitting in branches, they're sitting everywhere. You ask me, they're all boys. I was like wondering, what is this? What are they doing here? Then when I just checked with the guy, he was not even ready to talk. That's the best part of it. He's like, Yenappa in Kannada. When I asked Yenappa, he said like, Auntie, Yenala auntie, you don't disturb me. It was like, he was not okay to talk. Then he said like, hey, come on, why are you all sitting here? What is that happening? Is somebody coming or something? Some function is happening. Are you seeing something? No, auntie, this is the area where you get 4G internet. And all of us are playing PUBG. And they were all in the age of 14 to 17. They were not big boys. I was literally, seriously, that was what my reaction was. Seriously? Yes, that was seriously. And to an extent, that was an exam time, and none of them was even bothered about anything to do with academics. Okay, this is an actual. If you have seen somewhere the monkeys sitting in a branch of a tree, I literally visualized that, and it was. And this is. I'm not even exaggerating anything. This is the true story. Unfortunate, but what I understood is the free internet, or the 4G coming to less was not required. You always have your own antennas which just goes up. It has its own advantage. I would never say it has no advantages. It has a lot of advantages, but the disadvantages are also many. And the way they were so they didn't had any fear of falling from the tree. There was zero safety concern, which was also like scary. When they're playing, imagine PUBG is some game where you're shooting somebody. There is a lot of aggression which is involved in that place. And just imagine while doing, he falls, he's fallen from even at 10 feet height. If he falls, like the injury, there is no sense of insecurity for them because they're playing this. And the way they're playing is everybody is loud, everybody is in their whole excited mind playing this. Okay, this is first part of the story. Let me tell you the second part of the story. The second part of the story is like they finished their exams and they got the result. In that 40 people who were there, 40 or 35 plus people, at least 2 people passed only. See, basically they come from North Karnataka. North Karnataka is somewhere where they are more not into much of academics. Only 2 people passed. So you understand the impact of this gaming which has happened. So this is what I wanted to share this story. This is one rural story which I shared. Let me come to the urban story. Oh my God, urban story I cannot tell you. Urban story happens with my niece, my nephew, everybody around, my friend's son, my son, everybody. The whole issue is the kids who were like this have become like this. the arch, the back is getting really bent towards the phone, and this is a very and this tender age, the bone takes the shape of the body, so which is one of the most harmful part of this addiction, because you have a phone and you have to be like this. You cannot do like this, because you need to have focus, and you need to have focus. What happens is you automatically bend your body, and what happens is your neck is injured bad, and you get a back which is not okay, and you're not straight. This is something, and now this has been used. People are using for a great marketing. There is a belt which is coming to correct your back. See, my question is, you, because you're not taking care of yourself, how many things you want to get? People are using it as a business, isn't it? How fair is that? I don't know how fair is that, but for him, it's making money. But when somebody has to put a belt because you went to play, it is not something okay, isn't it? So yeah, then I'll now share it. Tell me if this is bothering you. Sharing, not sharing. I can just be in sharing mode also.
No problem, ma'am. No problem. We are fine.
Okay. So I explained you about the this real-time strategy games are something. It's still okay compared to these shooting games, because if you this real-time games are something where you plan, where there is a strategy, where all of them are there together. This is still better than this shooting game. And sports games are still okay, because sports games are something where they stand up and play. They play in Xbox, they play in PS3. This is like a lot of shuttle, tennis. In fact, when there was pandemic, we encouraged this to kids rather than any other game. So it was easier. So this is something which I wanted to show you all. Is it visible? Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay. So this is something which back to gaming. Harm the Tucker generally is like, what people do is beautiful day outside, then open the window and play. This is the concept, and there is again, this is a very dangerous concept, because people find it very easy not to send their kids outside, because they feel staying at home is safe. I want to I want to tell you one case study which we did. It was a group of us, like, there is a psychiatrist, there is an occupational therapist. All of us, we got one child to our center, where the child was totally into gaming, and he was almost like, aggressive. He was hitting his mother. Even when he was in the clinic, he was hitting his mother because she had taken his tab out. Okay, he was hitting his mother, throwing tantrums, didn't want to stay. He was fidget. He didn't want it to talk. There were so many things which was happening, and we do an analysis whenever the child comes, or the anybody who comes for addiction. We do an analysis. When we did an analysis, we got to know the child has severe addiction, to an extent that he was almost into psychosis. Psychosis is something where the child is not able to understand what it is doing. Even if you talk, he will not understand what he is doing. Unfortunately, the parent was a single mother who came to us. So when it's you don't have a partner, or when you don't have somebody to help you out, it becomes little more challenging to be a parent. As a parenting myself, I feel it's a challenging process. So in add-on, if you are a single parent, it is much more challenging. And the age was, he was coming to us when he was in 7th standard. Okay, 7th standard is almost like 12 years when he came to us. So we worked on the child. We made a plan for him. We did a lot of, see, I'll tell you what all the work once I come to the treatment part. We did a lot of planning for the child. We did assessment. We also gave him some toys to play, and we also told how to taper and use all these things. And this is cutting the long story short. The child was doing great. In fact, after 6.5 to 7 months, child came out of the gaming addiction, and he was getting to become normal, like normal in the sense wanting to go and play outside, wanting to play football, wanting to be with his friends. This was a wonderful result for us, okay, as a mental health profession and also a psychiatrist as a group. It was a great thing. And then a lady called us. She didn't call me, but she called a psychiatrist and said, "You know what you have done?" I said, "What have we done?" Now my son wants to take me to football. He wants me to take me to his friend's house. He wants me to do all these things. It is too expensive and it is too time consuming. I think it's better he was playing online game. Now tell me, who is responsible? So it was a shocker for us. Definitely, it was a shocker for us. See, one thing is you can help, but if they don't know how to take your help, you can't help it, right? So the child was really doing well. Now she's not back to us. She's not even in touch with us, nor she receives any of our call. But that is how it is. So it's that's why I told, like, it is just not about others. It's about who wants help. As a team, we did a fantastic job with that child, but yeah, sometimes it doesn't work. So this is one story. Why I'm telling you this story is it's very important to know when to ask help, and when you have got the help, it's also very important to know how to stay with that help. So it's very, very important to know. This is why I told, beautiful day outside. So that mother wanted him to play a video game with them. So I'm not, I don't know whether, I don't want to put any blame here on parent or anything, but don't you think the child was never been supported well in this case? Yeah, our burdens as the parental burden was put on the child. That is what I felt. So yeah, I don't have to judge her because I don't know what is she's going through, but this was something which happened to us. Yeah. Okay. Next, coming to the next slide. Okay, what exactly, what exactly are we looking at the first signs, what we look when it comes to gaming addiction or internet. It's just not about gaming. It's like, it's like gaming is one part. If they're bored with gaming, they go into Instagram. If if they are bored in even in Instagram, they go to Snapchat. So it's like, it's become everywhere. It's everywhere, and they did not have to go to meet a friend for it. It's all happening, because how many have okay, can I ask you a question? Can you just open your phone and honestly tell me how many apps you have? I can tell you at least unwanted apps. At least I have around four, five, six. Yeah, I have Zomato. I have Swiggy. I have Insta. I have IMO. I have I have IKEA. I have everything. Now tell me, any one of you, can you just tell me how many apps do you have? Anybody, it's fine. Or you can chat too.
8 apps.
8 apps, okay. Do you know, you sometimes you may not even have that much of grocery in your house? Okay, so these are some. See, basically, I don't believe in labeling, because what happens is the moment you label a kid as, you are an addict, it is very difficult for them to accept. And also, as an culturally, as Indians, we have one more thing, like, when you give a toy, I have a grandson who is like who is in a he was 6 years or 5 years, 6 years now, yeah. And also granddaughter who is who is 3.5, 4 years. The only thing that can make them eat is their mobile, isn't it? So where are we giving? Are you, like, I'm asking this question. If everybody agrees, you raise your hand or give whatever sign it is. How many of you are okay if you to give alcohol to your child at the age of 5, 6, 7? Huh? I see lot of eyes. Oh my God, no. Why is that? Why is that? 120 apps, Sindhu Deepak, congratulations. Okay, now tell me, no, how many of you are okay? 150% no. Okay. Why is that? You're not okay to give that. Why can't he smoke at the age of 5 or 7? Why is that? Do you think there is any difference between alcohol and screen addiction? Science says there is no difference between the internet addiction or gaming addiction and alcohol addiction, heroin addiction. No, there is no difference. But what we do is, like, we take it, and also there is some one few tone which I want to tell. Ayyo, I'll tell you in Kannada, like whoever can understand. If you don't understand Kannada, I'll translate it to English. But I want to keep the native thing. Ayyo, ನಮ್ಮ ಮಗುಗೆ phone ಕೊಡಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಗೊತ್ತು. This is what they say. It's like they know everything and they're so proud of it. Of course, they are the natives. They are the natives of this digital era, so they will be okay with knowing it. But they will definitely not know anything to do with your tomato. They will not know the basic things of cooking. They will not know what is sugar and salt. These are things which they will not know. We are okay with it. But when we are so proud to say that, he knows to operate everything. That is the first mistake. Appreciating something which is not age appropriate. That's why when I asked, like, are you okay to give a cigarette at the age of 5 or 6? Because it's very important to understand what is that you are handing over to your kid. Be mindful about, see, I'm not again preaching, because this is also one thing, because it's very convenient, because there is one app, you just give it to them and it makes. But when you are doing that, be conscious, is the child understanding what is eating? Is that not a first step for the obesity which is happening in a child? Is that not a first step, like, where you are giving a child a habit to get into addiction? See, not everybody who plays, not everybody will be an addict. This is one thing which we have to understand. But unfortunately, the addiction itself it has lot of genetics in it. So you don't know where your genes come from, right? So, and also this game of willpower. Okay, I have a strong willpower, doesn't work when it comes to addiction. Willpower plays zero when it comes to a person's addictions. That's the reason it's very important to be mindful when you start the habit. So habit formation is very, very important. And when I understand, when there was pandemic, there was a reason, like we have to give a laptop to them, and that was the first toy we gave, which we were not wanting to. Every time we were like, you use my phone, I'll give it back. But then they own it. The rest. When a child owns something, taking away from them is not possible. Just not possible. So that is the reason we have to be very mindful about when the habit starts. So okay, like let's come to, like, what are the causes? What are the things which we have to be aware? When is the antenna to be raised? Unfinished tasks. When the child comes up and say, like, or maybe you get a complaint saying that homeworks are not done, notes not being completed, or maybe when the person is in his degree, because we are not just talking about children here, we are also talking about young adults and also adolescents. What is like unfinished task is also about when they don't know how to make friends, which is a huge thing, and they don't know how to belong, where to belong. These are something which we have to be, like, alarmed about. And forgotten responsibility is, like, there are a lot of losing of things, like, I didn't get my bag, or maybe, like, there are people who also forget the whole bag because they were playing in the metro. This has happened. Many of the clients are playing in a metro and they just left the bag and they came out. This is forgotten responsibility. And weight gain is one thing which is happening, because 8 hours of sitting is nothing but 8 hours of bomb. That is what I would say, because every time your physical activity is becoming zero and zero and zero. Okay, backache. Of course, I spoke about the backache part because when you bend, you have lot of stress on your neck. So what happens is you tend to get headache to an extent where, and also if I have to talk about eye, that is one more big story because the most um, time people spend on the laptop, the money who is making is an ophthalmologist. The eye specialists are making big money. When I was talking to a friend of mine who was also an ophthalmologist, she was telling, like, Sandhya, the amount of dry eyes which is increased, like, initially, like in 10 years back, the dry eyes was happening only for the people who were diabetic at the age of 60, 50. Now the dry eye happens to the kid who are 10 years. 10 years. And the problem with dry eye is you start itching and you just start scratching, and it becomes so bad. Sometimes it's like, there is all around a wound. So it needs to be we need to be very, very sensitive, because again, this is a sensitive sensory organ. We have to be very careful about vision problem. And also, there are other dramas which is happening, the blue screen, because it is better for the eyes, so you need to have a blue screen. This is again one more sort of business which is happening, so which need to be addressed. And also, when it comes to gaming, what are the other things is, gaming doesn't teach you consistency, and consistency is a key for healthy life. What do you mean by consistency? Yes, they are consistent in their playing. But when you're playing, what happens is, there is something which you didn't reach. Okay, there is a target which you. The easiest button there is reset. Go back. Again play. So what is that you're not learning? Failure. People are not learning failure. Failure is a very essential part of our life skill, and day to day, everybody needs to know how to fail. And every time, if you are an achiever, every time if you want to be somebody who is winning, then you are not fit to be in the normal society. There is ups and downs, there is a shame, there is a guilt. Somebody is going to tell you, like, you're not okay, you will be criticized. This is normal. What is not normal is reset button. If you have reset button, go back, play, you achieve your goal. If you cannot do it for once, do it 3 times. If you're not able to do it 4 times, then you have to pay money, and then you get an heart, or you get something, you again play. So this is not teaching you any skill. This is not teaching you any skill. So that is very, very important. Coming to emotional part of it, what is that we are not learning is the emotional part, which we have been, like, losing track of time. I can tell you, one of my own client had an exam, and at 11 o'clock he said he's going to play one game. He was an addict. He said, I'm going to play one game and I'm going to be done with it in a half an hour. Don't believe he only got up at 7 o'clock to know that he is only playing, and he didn't realize the time. And he didn't go to the exam that day. So what is that? Because it is like a vicious circle. When you go there, you don't know when to come back. So that is the whole thing, and that's the issue, because you don't understand how much time you are spending on it. And also, there is a lot of deceiving of parents happening, because the moment they ask you, like, you are playing, are you playing? They say no, because there is a lot of denial, there is a lot of lie. You start lying, and also, like, kids start taking it to bathroom. Oh my god, I can't tell you this bathroom story. I know, maybe I sound funny, but you don't believe. I just told some time back my son, if you are staying in bathroom for long, I'm going to put a CCTV camera there. He was like, Mama! I said, no. Because the amount of time they're spending in bathroom is only because they have the phone. So let's make certain rules where, it's important for us to make certain rules where there is no mobile area or no laptop tab area, which is very very important. Falling in grades is also something which we have to be looking out for. But there are some kids, okay, some kids who are extremely intelligent, who are who can do all their academics and then still play. But academic is not the only one skill which you're looking for, right? There are other skills. Is that guy able to confidently to communicate? Is that person who is in gaming confidently be in relationship? Relationship has become a huge thing because people are not able to stay in relationship because they have no time, and any relationship need time, right? Because see, if there are old set of friends, okay, fine, because you've made a nice connection with them, so you don't. But if there is a new girlfriend coming or boyfriend coming in your life and you still have a video game, you need to make a choice between, is it video game or is it a girlfriend? And many a time when people are so much addicted to to this game, what happens is, they are letting go the relationship part, and they never know what does quality time means. And also, this is even in the romantic intimate moment, there are people, even while having sex, there are people who see their gaming. And this is true because for them, even that act is not as pleasurable as the gaming. So you can understand what is important to them, right? So this is something which we have to have a red flags where you need to know about. And also you need to know if the person is a sports person and if is not wanting to go to sports. Of course, you need to ask about, first thing is about, what exactly is bothering, because that is a minimum thing which we need to ask. Maybe it may be also because the person is not being treated well, or maybe there is some issue with with the co-players, or maybe with his friends or team. That may be one thing which you have to ask. Other thing is, like, are you doing something to video gaming which that alarm needs to go on? And also, are they so particular? Just imagine if their phone breaks, how long generally it takes around 1 day or 2 day to fix the are they so hyperactive about it, my phone is not available? And are they fidgeting? Are they trying to look at your phone, picking your phone? These are signs which you need to be very very cautious and alert about. Even you see, these are for two people. When I'm telling, it's also about parents, it's also about counselors who are here, and also about already a player who is in a denial, saying that no, 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 I'm not an addict. Because this denial in addiction, the first emotion which we work is on denial. They are not ready to accept that this is going to happen to me. And because and also there is one thing we have, we look upon drugs, anybody taking drugs is like, oh no. But when it comes to technology addiction, we think it is higher level of addiction and it's okay. And this discrimination is still not okay because this brain doesn't understand, no? It is intellectual addiction. This is not an intelligent, no, that is. And the advantage for people who are gaming addiction is because they sit at a place, they need not have to see, if a person is wanting to buy a ganja, he need to find a peddler, he need to go chase for it, he need to meet friends, he need to look for it. But in this it is not. Your mother is having an internet connection with the speed of so and so and so. Your father is paying the bill and he has got a mobile to you, so it is, you are getting a provider there in front of you. So, don't you think it's hard to be a drug addict than to be a game addict? Yeah, I know. I am so funny sometimes. That's fine. Because, see, because when it also gives you a comfort zone. And nobody is judging you because they're like, hey, aata aadtane. That's all. They just say, he plays. That's all. And that's not a big deal. Only when it comes. See, and also, as I said, only 10% of people have an issue with addiction. There are other 50 who will be fine, who will be definitely fine because they do not have the hereditary of this. Their genes doesn't come from addiction. If that is something which you have to be very very aware of. So these are some of the mental health signs which I want to tell you. These are, so there is depression, dishonesty. Yes, there is dishonesty because you have to lie, and every time you have to think of playing, you need to give reason. Even there are illustrations and there are examples when, because they are playing, people have started using diapers because they don't want to go into loo. And there are this is not something which is not happening. They have started, and they're eating poor, they're not eating well, unhygiene to an extent that they don't know what is there in their room, to that extent. Depression, of course, there is a depression because that is the only thing they are saying. Morning, night, evening, there is only one thing which they are focusing on and investing on is their gaming or on the mobile. If I say gaming, it's see, I still feel PS3 is better if they're playing on a bigger screen than playing in this small screen. See the dimension of the screen, and and the visibility issues, and the way it can go still here, and the eye contact, all these things is like too difficult. Anxiety, the way the anxiety is taking over is they don't know how to communicate outside. Because this is also one more thing. They have unknown friends coming from online sources. They don't have known friends coming from this known sources, which is not healthy again, right? Why is it not healthy? Because you don't know the danger of the unknown. You don't know the, see, I still say it's unknown, because the virtual friends are very difficult to become your real friends, because they don't understand your emotion. They know only because you are hitting 150 people and you are moving ahead in your PUBG scores, or maybe in your Call of Duty scores. This is what they know. They don't know anything new. They don't know you have a sister. They don't know you have a family who cares for you. They don't know. There is. This is also one more thing which, if you have a person who is sick, and the person, your nurse, especially when you hire a nurse and they are into gaming addiction, it's more a problem, because they don't even know whether they're taking care of a patient or they're playing. This is something which has been which has been faced by elder care. Elderly care are suffering because the people who are a home nurse are into, because they don't have 24. It's not a 24-hour job, because when the patient is sleeping, you're playing. That is one more angle to look at. Where is it affecting just not the youngsters, it's also affecting the elder care, which we need to know. And mood swings, I can't tell you, the mood swings varies from here to here, here to here, everywhere, because they don't know how to think out of box, because that's the only box they know. And when I say it is like, are all of them like that? They are not. All of them are not like that. But when you are addicted, they are. Fear. Why is the fear? Fear of, like, my mom will come and see, oh my God. Or maybe, like, I'm not doing well in my game, oh my God. Like, fear and anxiety go hand in hand here. Like, if you don't do well in your game, the anxiety is like, oh my God, oh my God, my scores are reducing, fear is like, okay, what if my group, there is a group in every game, there is a group. If you are somebody who is playing, even for to understand the game, there is a group. In that group, you're not in the top level, that is not okay with them. And boredom has become one part and parcel, because they don't know how to use creativity to get out of the boredom. And over parenting is a huge issue for people not understand, kids not understanding boredom, because the moment the child is bored, okay, let's eat something, okay, let's buy something, okay, you're bored, they're not encouraging. At least when I say they, I'm not generalizing. Of course, there are very mindful parents who do great job as a parent, but some parents doesn't even know, like, as one of the parent which I already told the story, you're bored, chalo, take this game, play this game, finish it off. If not this, do a Snapchat. If not that, do Insta. If not that, go take a selfie. If not that, they are not asking you to arrange your room, clean your room. There is no concept of that. So it's very, very important to understand These are some signs which is mainly anxiety and gaming addiction go hand in hand, because they don't know what to do without a game, or the to an extent they also don't understand the sensory organs. They don't know what is the feeling of the hand except the mobile. If you see the hands, you cannot find their fingerprints. To that extent they would have used. And when we do an examination, physical examination, when we are doing this, the physical examination, first thing is we check their fingers, and they have pain in all of these joints. So it's very important. If some of the counselors who are listening, these are some things which you need to understand. When you see that the child is coming with some issue, you don't have to like hold his hand and see, but subtle observation helps a lot. So this is something I want to say. So okay, I understand that we are here about it. See, these are some tips which I would give for people who are in the process. They are not yet addicted, but they are feeling they're overusing their game, or so. Just see what you can do. First thing is, if you can find a partner. The best part is when you find a partner, nothing like that to work with an addiction. The thing is, it can be a therapist, but therapist is not somebody who's your friend. Okay, therapist is a therapist who will help you, who will guide you, or who will take you through the process. But you need to have your ally. You need to have a person who will support you, like 24/7. When it is like 2 weeks, somebody has to be a policing around you, and you need to give that, I know I'm going through a problem, and this is a problem. The denial has to be coming to an acceptance, like I accept there is a problem, so I need help. Generally, I use parents as their help in my clinical practice, because the person who is more worried or more concerned about the child is a parent. So if there is somebody who is working and doing it, ask help from your parents or ask help from your friends. Girlfriends will be a great source of girlfriends or boyfriends. They can be, because but the whole thing is, say it loud. Many people say that when you are breaking an habit, or when you are forming a new habit, or getting out of addiction, don't say it to anybody, make it that and all. Doesn't work. What work is, you have to announce that I want to get out of this addiction. Then people will support you. Of course, when there is a word addiction, you have to understand there is going to be a relapse. These are some words which goes like, this is mirroring words. This are going to be there, because addiction and relapse are very, very common. It is. So it's important to have an ally where you tell and share with that person that, I'm starting to quit my phone. If you can hand over this phone to that person, that's a great thing. Like, it may not have to be like, you need to know what are your trigger time. For many people, trigger time would be like, when you are about to go sit in an auto, or maybe when you are like, when you are having dinner, or when you are having breakfast. All these times you need to make it. Usually there is a schedule when I give to my students or my clients, is like, a set of one paper where you say which are your trigger time. One boy said, my trigger time is my loo time. Because he sits in his loo for 2 hours, okay? And he says, ma'am, you don't believe, that is the most calmest place in my house. I know. You see, when the client comes and shares with you these things, you feel like, oh my God, especially we are somebody who is so well trained not to judge them. So, what I use humor. I said, doesn't it stink? He said, no, ma'am. This is the funniest part of it. So it's very important to have an ally, and then you the person accepting himself that, yes, I'm going through a problem and I want to get sorted out, is a first thing. So that is called as recognizing. I have 1 second. I'm just coming. Okay, this is one video which I would definitely want everybody to see. So this is doom scrolling. That only means, I think many of the kids, when they would have just got into sleep, but when there is a mobile, they get up and then just see this. So and this generation is lacking sleep almost by 2 hours. 2 hours. This is a research and this has been proven because this is the most sleep deprived generation. And unfortunately, when they're sleep deprived, their energy levels and their activity, brain activity is very, very deprived. That only means that you're not going to get as smarter people as us, Let me just say that. And so that's very, very important. See, and I'm also not blaming, technology for only addiction, but technology has its advantages. Only thing is, do you know how mindful you are? So mindfulness becomes a key in whatever it is, even from food to your screen to friendship to relationship. Even in relationship, if you are in a toxic relationship, then you are not mindful about it, right? Which is not okay. So now what I'm coming you to is there are 3 R's which I use in my practice. One is replace your habit or your addiction with something new. What are that something new which is very important? Like, if a person is a see, we need to understand their personality also. Is a person extrovert, is a person introvert, which is also very, if a person is ambivalent, it's fine, we can also manage. If a person is core extrovert, there are other activities like football, cricket, shuttle, and with so many sports club coming in, we can replace it with sports. And also, if the person is introvert, start using painting anywhere where their hands are involved. These are the things. Clay modeling, this is something which can be used. Painting, gardening, knitting. Like, it's not that only adolescents play, only people who are young adults play. Even elderly people have started getting to gaming addiction. For them, what I generally do is, we do wax therapy. Wax therapy is something where you put them and they put their hands in wax, and they have to peel it, where their hand is being used because they are not using it for this purpose, the gaming purpose. So this is one thing. Anything to do with cooking, if you can ask them cooking. If the people are coming from Bangalore or beach side, beach walk without a phone. Okay, again, when there is a big watch, it is very calm. Okay, let me start playing. That doesn't help. So it's very, very important to understand what you suggest to the people. And also, calm walking works very, very well, because walking without the phone, again, so even to switch on the music, is, I think that is also not a great habit, because you don't know to be in your own self. Solitude is not something which you are practicing, isn't it? So that is something which we can work. And the best therapy which is worked is cognitive behavior therapy. CBT is one of the best therapy which works very, very well, because where you are showing them like what exactly is doing. The questions in CBT are quite upfront. It's not something like, you're not doing. It's a direct question. You ask the questions and you get answers, and which makes the person realize, understand, like, this is what it is. Oh my God, I realize it now. So that helps. And recording, what is this recording? Recording is to understand, like, record the time at least for 2 weeks. You need to understand, see the screen times. If you see, every phone now has a screen time. If the screen time is like, which is the screen which is mostly used, which is the screen which is mostly used, and what is the hour? Is it 12 hours? Many kids, it is more than 12 hours. So we need to know and monitor it before labeling. It's very, very important to monitor it before labeling. And anything more than an hour a day, that is a weekly 5 hours is still fine. 6 hours is also okay. 8 hours is already alarming. 10 hours is overuse. If it is more than 20 hours, that means they are already into addiction. Just a guideline to understand it. So this is something. Then reward. You can also use reward. These are the 3 R's. The reward is, what are you going to reward for the person who is already into a lot of gaming? Reward a good food, reward a cycle. These are some, and also it not need not have to be a bigger reward. Reward can be like, good words, flowers. If it's, and it is not that, the only boys are into it or something like that. Even girls are there. For girls, you can also make some nail paints, because nail paint takes lot of time. So this is something which one of my girl client told me, like, ma'am, once I started using this nail paint and nail art, ma'am, I felt so happy. And when you do a nail paint, you need to keep it for some time, and the nails are big, you can't use your system so well. So that was one of the ways she quit this habit. So you need to know what are the tools. Tools is more coming from your common sense. So this is what is, because yeah, I think we're done with an hour. So this is what I had to say. See, basically, if you ask me, this is a topic for 5 hours, which we have consolidated and done it in 1 hour. It is to spread awareness. Okay, it is to spread awareness